Thursday morning. It's McCollum on Business. I'm Stephen McCollum, and for the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to get you updated on what's happening around the business world. We got Trump and China right now. The two leaders have already met with the time difference here. We'll get you some updates there. At least what we're hearing is going on behind the scenes. We'll look at the market watch, stocks we're paying attention to, plus all the local and national stories that you need to know. We have some reports out this morning as well. The unemployment report out there is a big one. We're going to look into that. So let's get it started here with that Market Watch. Right now, everything is good. Everything is up today. The Dow Jones has come down a little bit, but it was up over almost up to 300 points here this morning. And it went over that 50,000 level. Right now, though, it's at 130 points up, 49,931 for the Dow Jones. The S&P 500 is up 21 points today to 7473. The Nasdaq's up 91 points to 26,494. And then the Russell 2K, that small cap index, 5 points up, 2851. Little bit of a rally on Bitcoin today as it did drop down to the low 79,000 yesterday. Today it's back up closer to 80,000, 79,810 for Bitcoin here this morning. All eyes are on China. We'll talk about that here coming up in just a minute. So far, at least, all positivity between the two presidents meeting earlier this morning, our time, over in Beijing, China. Stocks we're paying attention to right now, well, Versant Media Group is the first one, and they're up today 7.37% as of right now. They reported revenue growth among its content licensing and digital platforms within their first quarter. Revenue, though, well, it slipped due to continued declines in its linear distribution for its pay TV networks and its advertising businesses. Their adjusted EBITDA, well, it came in at $704 million. Well, that was well above the estimates of $608 million. So, I mean, big gain there on that backside for Versant Media. And don't forget, Versant Media is a spinoff there of Comcast, NBC Universal. I had to think of the official company name. Remember, they spun them off earlier this year, January 5th as well, for that. So this is CNBC, MS Now. I believe USA is part of this. I know the Golf Channel definitely is, but I believe Sci-Fi is part of it as well. So then they have Golf Now for a digital asset. Fandango is part of this. But this is basically that company that spun off from Comcast, NBC Universal earlier this year. Big day for them, 7.99%. Yeti Holdings, you know Yeti, the outdoor products company, coolers, thermoses, up 8.92% here today. Well, first quarter beat on the top and bottom lines for Yeti. Yeti reported adjusted earnings of 26 per share. The expectation was only 18 cents per share. Its revenue came in at $380.4 million. Well, that topped the only $374 million consensus estimate. Another company having good reporting here, Yeti Holdings, up 7.77%. And the one that's just everybody's paying attention to this morning, that's Cisco Systems. Yeah, a big 14.85% here this morning. It's a software company. If you don't know what they technically do, well, they issued third quarter results and guidance, and it completely blew away Wall Street's expectations. Well, for the first quarter, in terms of their guidance, Cisco sees its adjusted earnings coming in at $1.16 to $1.18 per share. Analysts were looking for only $1.07 per share for their upcoming first quarter guidance numbers. Well, they said they're going to come in at $16.7 to $16.9 billion in revenue with their future guidance in the first quarter. Well, analysts were only expecting $15.82 billion. They had at least their future-looking guidance is blowing numbers out of the water as well. But they also beat Wall Street's projections on both the top and bottom lines for its last quarter. They actually, at the same time, they announced they're going to cut about 4,000 jobs. And guess why, folks? Artificial intelligence is the reasoning behind that 4,000 job cut. And with the numbers beat, the guidance increase, the announcement of the layoffs there as well, 16.02% up right now for Cisco Systems here early on this Thursday morning trading. Later on, when we come back, we're going to look at StubHub out there. You know, a lot of talk with Ticketmaster and the Blue Dot flu and cancellations. Well, StubHub is making some news today after posting their revenue. We're going to look at NVIDIA. Big news, Trump's in China. What do you think that has to do with NVIDIA? Well, we'll tell you here coming up as well. And then we're going to look at Honda Motor doing something they haven't done in their 70-year history. So we'll look at their stock coming up as well, the Japanese company, the U.S. listed shares of the Japanese company coming up here later on in the program as well. But first, as I told you, though it's kind of the everybody's paying attention to, at least here in the marketplace, is Trump over in China. Now, you know, you get some White House pools, you get some readout stuff, and then you get things like Fox News coming out. And Fox News is announcing that President Trump told Sean Hannity for his show coming up later today that President Xi, the Chinese president, committed to helping the U.S. with Iran and agreed to buy U.S. soybeans, oil, and liquefied natural gas and other energy products from the United States. Then Trump said Xi also told him that China would purchase 200 737 Boeing jets also in these deals and talks that they're having. Now, the full interview set to air on Thursday evening, but Fox News kind of putting out that preview here earlier. Boeing, well, it's previously been negotiating a deal to sell 500 737 MAX jets to China. Interesting enough, a lot of CEOs are over in China. And I did see that a lot of those CEOs are saying that President Xi told those CEOs that China is going to be becoming more open to these companies. Was the quote I saw earlier today as well. Well, President Trump and President Xi met for 2 hours and 15 minutes on Thursday morning. That's all. We get this from the White House press pool briefings here. Here's what the press pool said. The two sides agreed that the Strait of Hormuz must remain open to support the free flow of energy. China gets a lot of their energy from that Strait of Hormuz and Iran. So they're paying a serious price right now with what's happening in that Middle East. President Xi, according to now going back to the press pool reporting, President Xi also made clear China's opposition to the militarization of the strait and any effort to charge a toll for its use. And then President Xi expressed interest in purchasing more American oil to reduce China's dependence on that Strait of Hormuz in the future. So then the statement goes on to say both countries agreed that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. Was the other part of that White House pool. So we're starting to see things come out over this meeting. But if that's true, right, farmers with soybeans being helped immensely with, if that is the case, where China's going to buy more of them. Obviously, Boeing and all the entities that supply Boeing, positive news there with that 200 order jet coming the way as well. And then, you know, it's just a lot of other stuff up there. So that's just leaking out here this morning, White House press pool. We'll keep our eyes on that as well as we continue on watching President Trump and all the CEOs over in China. Well, this morning here at stateside, we had a couple reporting. U.S. retail sales reports came out, and they increased further in April because they've been going up February, March as well, and more further increases here in April. Some of the rise, though, well, it was likely due to higher inflation as prices have gone up because war in Iran boosting prices of energy products, other commodities. And so a lot of those sales increases could just be things cost more. Retail sales rose 0.5% last month after that downwardly revised 1.6% jump in March. We get these reporting, by the way, from the Commerce Department. And then they also said, this all came out this morning, economists polled by Reuters, they had forecasted retail sales gaining 0.5% after a previously reported 1.7% increase in March. right? So right in line with the estimates, but it is a drop compared to March, but it's still high. Now, obviously, what's affecting it? We saw this with the PPI the other day and the CPI the other day, consumer and production price indexes. Gasoline prices have risen 12.3% in April by itself. Yeah, which trucks, shipping from overseas on planes, on boats, etc. And those soaring gasoline prices, they're out there, but they've yet to pull spending away from other areas, at least according to the numbers we're seeing. And they're giving mostly the thanks to that on larger tax refunds this year. People are spending their tax refunds and not cutting back on the retail sales spending. The average tax refund was up $323 through April 25th compared to the same period last year in 2025, according to the Internal Revenue Service data that's out. The cushion, though, is diminishing. Economists at PNC Financial said an analysis of internal data, it showed consumers are drawing down tax refunds faster than they were last year, particularly among lower income households. So they're saying that they're seeing less of the refunds being used towards paying down credit card and other debt, going toward things people need this year. Usually, tax refunds are, right, I got to pay off my credit card or something to that effect. This year, it's going toward things we need or things we want moving forward with the way the economy is. So, we got the retail spending kind of shrinking down here as tax refunds are apparently drying up, according to the data. Well, what's out there on the job side of things? Because the number of Americans filing claims for unemployment benefits, well, it's increased moderately last week. These are weekly numbers, pointing to a stable labor market as we've known for a while. We know it's a no hire, no fire market, even as rising energy prices from the war with Iran do drive up the inflation. Initial claims for state unemployment benefits, well, it rose $12,000 to a senior seasonally adjusted 211,000 for the week ending May 9th. We get these numbers from the Labor Department that came out this morning as well. Economists polled by Reuters, they'd forecasted a 205,000 claims for that latest week. The number of people receiving unemployment benefits after an initial week of aid, meaning they're on it for multiple weeks, right? Now, basically a proxy for hiring, because if you're only on it for a week, that means you found something pretty quickly. Well, that number increased 24,000 to a seasonally adjusted 1.782 million during the week ending May 2nd. The government reported last week, as we know, non-farm payrolls increased by 115,000 jobs in April, the second straight month of strong employment gains in the market. The unemployment rate was unchanged at 4.3% as well. So, I mean, we're getting just mixed signals out there on this economy, meaning unemployment numbers moderately increasing, but not too bad, but people are finding work quickly to replace it. But then you're seeing stories and stories of layoffs, company closures, etc. Interesting times out there right now in the market that we're dealing with. And then here, if you're traveling this summer, we do have an airline merger. Obviously, Spirit went out of business because they couldn't find a merger partner. Well, Allegiant Air, they announced something that they said they were doing with Sun Country Airlines several months ago, but Allegiant Air officially said yesterday, on Wednesday, that it completed its purchase of Sun Country Airlines. This is finalizing a deal that combines these two low-cost carriers. And obviously, it's a tough time for budget airline industry. We've talked about this repeatedly on Spirit's side before they shut down. And then gas prices are killing these companies as well. So these two airlines, Allegiant, Sun Country, combining officially now. So Allegiant is based out of Las Vegas, Sun Country based out of Minnesota as well. But Allegiant said the transaction closed after receiving the required regulatory and shareholder approvals to do so. When the deal was first announced back in January, Allegiant said the deal was valued about $1.5 billion, including debt. Allegiant and Sun Country say their tie-up gives them more ways to generate revenue. So, not just passenger flights, obviously, that gives them more revenue between the two of them. Sun Country brings into these two companies cargo flying for Amazon. And they also do charter trips for sports teams, casinos, and the U.S. Department of Defense. Sun Country does. So, Allegiant getting some of that work now underneath their umbrella. Allegiant does say the expanded network is also expected to give travelers more options, especially in those smaller, mid-sized markets that Allegiant specializes in. So they have 195 aircraft serving about 175 cities and more than 650 routes. Now, like Allegiant, right? They fly to smaller airports, the Mesa Gateway to Fort Wayne, Indiana, for instance. And smaller places that the big airlines don't touch, or you have to go out of your way to fly into those airports with the bigger airlines. So now, though, for traveler side of things, if you're traveling on either airline coming up here, well, don't expect any changes anytime soon. Both airlines will continue to operate separately. Customers can keep booking flights on each individual's website, check in, manage trips, just like you do today, as if they were two separate airlines. Allegiant did say it'll take time to bring the two airlines together, but over the long term, if we look ahead, the combined company is expected to operate under the Allegiant name. They are going to remain headquartered in Las Vegas, but for those of you in the Midwest there as well, Sun Country, well, Minneapolis St. Paul is going to remain an important hub for the airline, even if the corporate office is going. They are planning on adding new options, connections, throughout the network as well as a merged airline. So some more options coming our way, of course, as travelers out there. And folks, appreciate you joining me here for this Thursday morning. McCollum on Business. When we come back, we'll take a look at those stocks again. StubHub, NVIDIA, the U.S. shares of Honda Motor doing something they haven't done in 70 years. We'll tell you about that. And, of course, local stories coming your way. And World Cup fans, even if you're beer drinking, I'd say soda as well. I'm sure you could put soda cans in this thing. I got a treat for you with the World Cup starting in less than a month. Stay tuned. That story's coming up. Come on back. It's McCollum on Business. And we're back here, McCollum on Business Thursday edition. Folks, we are one day away from the next episode of The Real Matrix coming up tomorrow, noon on Rumble and noon on the podcast systems as well. Just search The Real Matrix, Angry Patriot on your favorite podcast system. For those of you that do want to listen to that program, those numbers are skyrocketing as well on the podcast systems. The Angry Patriot can't thank you enough as well. Rumble, of course, all of our programming's over there, including The Real Matrix. It comes out at noon. Rumble.com/user/TME media for those of you that don't like YouTube out there. Of course, all of our other programming is over at YouTube as well. So Rumble and YouTube. Well, YouTube, you can find this program, the main event, The pit stop, which was new this week and posted yesterday. We look back at last weekend's Watkins Glen Indy Road Course. Get you ready for the Indy 500 practice and qualifying coming up this weekend. For the Indianapolis 500, that's just a couple short weeks away, or 1 week away, I should say, from this week. We look back at Watkins Glen. We look ahead to Dover this weekend, including the Cup Series All-Star race. That is on demand now on the YouTube and Rumble page, rumble.com/user/TME Media. And then, of course, on YouTube, TME Media AZ, folks. And we appreciate you if you've subscribed and follow the YouTube page as well. Well, we got some treats on there for you, including live programming here. The McCollum on Business, the main event, live there right now. As long as Robat TV is still on there for those of you that subscribe there. But of course, live there. We're going to do some other things coming up. Had my meeting yesterday and kind of went over some new ideas coming our way with some people coming on board the production company, TME Media AZ, to help us out and do some additional things and small shows coming our way that'll go directly or live there on the YouTube page. So you want to follow TME Media AZ as well. Of course, as soon as we're done here, we roll into the main event, 8 to 10 a.m. live as well. Robat TV, YouTube with TME Media AZ, on demand on Rumble and everything as well afterwards. Today, Uncle Lou comes in. We talk UFC, big UFC fight last week. UFC this week, hockey playoffs, of course, underway. Got a closeout in that Colorado series last night. Buffalo, Montreal, Vegas Ducks continue tonight. Fantastic series there in the NHL. We'll talk with him about as well. Coming up live 8 to 10 on demand after that on the YouTube and the Rumble page as well. Share, and of course, free podcast system for the Pit Stop. The Pit Stop Talk is on social media for them. And don't forget to follow TME Media AZ on X as well. We don't post to it a ton right now, but we do put out there what we're doing around here, programming notes, and what's coming. An NFL schedule officially comes out today for your Arizona Cardinals or your favorite team as well. And tomorrow on the main event, I will have a full breakdown of your favorite teams out there, as it's going to be a long night here tonight of me setting that up for you for tomorrow's show. So, folks, with all that being said, it's coming up here. We appreciate your support, but let's get back into that Market Watch. It's a good day here on the market with President Trump over, meeting with President Xi over in China. Dow Jones is up 123 points right now. It did hit 50,000 earlier today. Right now it's at 49,921. The S&P 500 is up to 31 points. As we're talking, NASDAQ's up 172 points now. Cisco, as we told you earlier, shares are jumping there for them. NASDAQ's up to 174. Russell 2K's up 2 points right now. And then Bitcoin, well, making a rally today, I guess you can say. Back up above 80,000 here, as earlier today they were still below 79. It was around 79,000, 79,800 or whatever. Now it's at 80,207 for Bitcoin here today as well. Stocks we are paying attention to in this segment, StubHub. That blue dot fever's out there for Ticketmaster and things. StubHub, the secondary market, well, 19.41% up for StubHub here today. They posted first quarter revenue of $446 million, an adjusted EBITDA of $72.1 million. Analysts only had expected $432 million in revenue. They came in at the $446. They only expected $65.1 million in EBITDA. Blew both of those numbers out of the water, StubHub did. Well, that's why they're up 19.88% here today. Next up, you got NVIDIA, the chip maker. Two presidents meeting in China. We all know the trade wars around chips and everything. NVIDIA's up 2.30% right now. Well, the U.S. has cleared the sale of NVIDIA's AI chip. That's that H200 we've talked about a lot on this program. Well, it's been approved for sale to about 10 Chinese firms. We get this reporting from Reuters here earlier this morning. No delivery has been made so far, but it has been approved to 10 Chinese firms. That's why Nvidia is up 2.26% here today, early in day's trading, about an hour into the trading day. Then you got Honda Motor. Now, this is the U.S. listed shares of Honda Motor Company. They're 4.58% up as of right now. Here's what they did. First time in nearly 70 years. Yeah, they had their first annual loss, folks. Yeah. They're up 4.58%, even though first annual loss in 70 years. But it is due to $9 billion in costs to restructure that electric vehicle business. So it's all due to that restructuring cost of $9 billion is why they missed their number. So it's not viewed as a 100% negative and ongoing problem there at Honda Motor Company. But its full year guidance for 2027 did come in above expectations for Honda, and it did maintain its dividend as well. Honda Motor Company is up 4.43%, even though doing something they haven't done in 70 years that is negative. Like, it's not viewed as a negative because there was a very bleak reason on why it happened as well. So Honda Motor, that's the U.S. shares now of Honda Motor Company as well. Now let's get into some couple local stories before we get into a little fun one for you that even I'm kind of like, that'd be kind of cool to have. We'll see coming up. But here we go. We're going into our summer season. It is hot out there, right? We have time frames where your electricity is expensive. We know that our utilities have to, on big days, they have to, get energy from other areas of the country that they can pull from to spike our energy levels and things to that effect. Well, the system is called Extended Day Ahead Market. They call it EDAM, EDAM for short. What it does is this new system that's out there for these regulators that builds on an existing real-time electricity trading market that has operated across the West since 2014. Call it an update here to the system of our electrical companies buying electricity between each other on those hot, scorching days. According to supporters of this new system, the real-time market has already saved customers kind of in the western region about $7 billion. They allow utilities to trade excess power in short time window before demand spikes. Before you would see a demand spike, your electric company would then go and get more demand at the prices that were out there. This is allowing them to do so about a day in advance when they're projecting what could be coming. Are the winds going to not be blowing on a day, making it extra hot, meaning people are going to crank down their ACs? Is the sun power going to be higher on a specific day coming up? So they can now trade energy a day before, which in theory will save them markets because they're not buying it at those high dollar amounts the day of and as needed. So this new market's going to expand that concept by giving utilities, as I said, more time to plan ahead. So utilities can use this day lead time basically to better balance supply and demand throughout this West region, especially during extreme weather events. We all know this. Electricity can surge in those time frames as we all crank down those ACs. Supporters do say this new EDAM system could also help lower costs because it's going to allow utilities to buy cheaper power from neighboring states instead of relying only on their own generation. Sometimes it's cheaper to buy excess power from a relying state as opposed to generating your own and cranking up those coal supplies or the natural gas supplies out there. So that system's online. I know. I know that I saw a couple stories on this. Not every Western utility is on it as of yet. It's going to take a couple years for a lot of them to get on the board over the next couple years. I know some up in Wyoming. I didn't see any in California on it yet. And I didn't see any in Arizona on it yet as well. But new system coming here right as we get into these summer months. And then if you're a renter out there and you rented from one of the largest apartment renters or property management companies out there, Graystar, well, you could be getting some money back. About $1.5 million in restitution could be coming to residents of two apartment complexes, one in Mesa and one in Gilbert. The payouts are part of a settlement deals announced by the Arizona Attorney General, Chris Mays. She announced all this yesterday in a press release. So, Graystar is the nation's largest multifamily rental property manager. Well, they were accused of advertising deceptively low rental prices and then doing what you're not supposed to do, right? Charging tenants much more each month. They added several mandatory fees on top of the base rent price. That is my biggest pet peeve on that. Greystar reached a $23 million settlement with the Federal Trade Commission related to its leasing practices. The company reached two additional settlements with Maze's office as well. We'll talk about the other settlement here in just a little bit. But a statement from Attorney General Chris Mays, quote, at a time when Arizonans are struggling to find affordable housing, my office is committed to making sure consumers aren't duped into leases that are substantially more expensive than what they bargained for. Yeah, what we need. We need to protect people from these predatory practices by these companies. The settlement do require Graystar to clearly and conspicuously display total monthly leasing prices and the mandatory fees on top of it. Some of the settlement money will be paid to Arizona renters who lived in Julia Apartments over in Mesa or the Havana in Gilbert are the two properties. I drive by both of those properties quite frequently. Consumers who lived at either complex between January 1st, 2023 and January 1st, 2026, and if you believe you were inaccurately charged fees in addition to base rent, and we're talking fees like parking fees, valet trash services, HOA dues, well, you can file a claim form online with the Attorney General's office to request the restitution from that side. The yeah, just hey, we're only going to charge you $1,200 rent. You're like, I want to live there. It's cheap. Then your rent's $2,200 because of the additional fees on there. It's just a dirty, dirty way to do business, in my opinion. The other side, the other deal with Graystar that's out there, consumers who lived at a property owned or managed specifically by Graystar from 2019 to 2025, you can receive restitution funds from the FTC settlement once settlement funds are distributed. If you are one of those consumers, you don't need to file any complaint with the Mays office. That one, we'll get more details on that coming up as well. But Graystar, mm, 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 causing some problems out there with their predatory practices out there. And folks, if you want to have a little fun, you got the FIFA World Cup coming up less than a month away. It was just a month the other day is what we were looking at for it getting kicked off and everything. Well, now that we're under a month, make your plans for a couple specific dates for, I don't know, might be a neat novelty item, I guess, out there. Yeah, don't forget the World Cup is in the United States, Mexico, and Canada coming up. And Miller Lite's coming out, and they're celebrating the biggest tournament, FIFA World Cup, in a very unique way. I don't know if it's very unique. It's pretty mind-boggling out there, but Miller Lite is distributing its first of its kind. They call it the Match Ball for the World Cups. True MVPs. You see it on your screen there if you're watching it. Yes, it's a limited edition Miller Time MVP Match Ball. What it is, if you're not watching us, it's a white and gold ball, 1.5 times larger than a regulation size ball, and it can hold 12 Miller Lights. It's fully reloadable throughout. Whenever you want to, it's fully reloadable. You can kind of see the cans sticking out of it there. Yeah. It's a signature part of the beer brand's Miller Time is on US campaign. Get it? Instead of Miller Time is on us, Miller Time is on US. Yes, obviously a play on words of supporting the U.S. men's national team in the World Cup. That isn't very good, folks. The match ball is a toast to every fan, from the field who get to the beer early, or to get to the bar early, excuse me, to snag a spot for all your friends and to catch a game, or even to those that want to, over-explain the rules to the more casual fans. Now you can toss them a match ball and hit them in the head with Miller Lite cans inside of a ball. It is limited edition, folks. So mark your calendars now. It'll become available for fans to purchase starting May 20th. Then they're going to do another limited edition sale on June 3rd, of course, while supplies last for it. Now, this is just a unique thing. I'm not a Miller Lite guy or anything like that. It's just a unique thing. You can put cans in it. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. The other reason why it'd be kind of like a different collector's piece because it's also reasonably priced. $19.75 is what you can get this for. By the way, uh, that's a throwback to the year Miller Lite was created. Yeah. If you can't secure the match ball through the limited time drops, well, a Miller Time MVP contest will be held for fans. You have to be 21 years or older because we're talking about Miller Lite here. They can nominate the MVPs of your favorite crew on social media for a chance to win a match ball as well. So, another way, I don't know, folks. It's just a fun little thing. I wouldn't keep Miller Lights in it. Does 1975? It obviously doesn't come with the Miller Lite. Maybe it does. What's Miller Lite? Is that still cheap? I don't even know. I don't even know. Just a little fun FIFA World Cup thing as we are getting closer and closer. The U.S. men's team is about to name their official roster for the World Cup coming up. And we're talking here less than a month for the World Cup to get underway. Ticket prices for that, we've told you how high they are here on this program. Coming down immensely. No shocker there, what's happening from that side. So be patient if you want to go to a World Cup game. U.S. starts, by the way, early part of June, I believe over in Inglewood, California as well. So not too far from us for the men's first start here for them to get underway. But we'll get more on the World Cup, of course, on the main event as we get closer to the World Cup time. And that's one of my favorite tournaments every 4 years. I enjoy it immensely. So, hey, folks, I also enjoy that you joined me here this morning, 7 a.m. here on McCollum on Business. We'll be back tomorrow on Friday, 7 a.m. as well. Don't forget, Pit Stop for the Week is up on YouTube, TME Media AZ, as well as on Rumble, rumble.com/user/TME Media. We're a day away from the Real Matrix. As soon as we're done here, this will be uploaded on demand on the YouTube page and the Rumble page. And then, of course, the main event gets underway live 8 to 10 a.m. on Robat and on YouTube. And then on demand after that. So catch our programming. Share us with your friends. We'd appreciate it. We'll see y'all tomorrow, everyone. And stay tuned for the main event coming up 8 to 10 with Uncle Lou coming up at 9 o'clock. We'll see you there, folks. Have a great afternoon. Stay dry. Stay cool out there. Well, dry if you're outside sweating. We'll see you tomorrow, everyone.